every year, in 2012 we knew that God was with us. It was a year in which gracious separation took a great deal of our time and energy, but we do now have a policy in place, and we have guidelines to assist us in that work. So we indeed were able to complete that important piece of business. It was a year in which we welcomed 10 new clergy into our presbytery, including 6 who accepted their first call. So kind of an exciting thing, not just new folk moving in, but people getting excited and moving into ministry. And especially I love the fact that Anna's here on her 1-week anniversary. So we're going to be celebrating some folk a little later who are in the 50-plus years. So you've got a ways to go. But congratulations on your first week. We hope it hasn't been too tumultuous. 2012 was also a time in which we said goodbye to some friends and colleagues, including some who passed into the church triumphant. We will honor those friends by name at our meeting in March. But I want to take a moment to thank all of those folk, especially the ruling and teaching elders who made the special effort to attend various memorial services throughout this past year, and to pay honor to our colleagues who have moved on, and especially remember that in the year to come as well. The year 2013 will be a year in which we also remember the words found at the end of Matthew's Gospel, to go into the world and make disciples of all nations. In 2013, there will be those who will choose not to continue with us. There may be some who choose not to continue with us in our journey in the PCUSA. If that happens, it will be sad, but we will carry on nonetheless, because this is where God has called us to be. I can tell you your council and leadership are working hard to make Presbyterian meetings engaging and educational, as well as times of taking care of necessary business. And one of the other things that I'm excited about is the fact that there are exciting things happening in mission and ministry. There are new worshiping communities that are popping up in places like Uptown and near the U. Many other places where amazing things are happening, both urban and rural, in the Southern Kingdom, in the Twin Cities area, even in Wisconsin. We, of course, have 5 congregations on the Wisconsin side, and they are doing amazing things as well. And I can tell you our mission partnership are doing God's work in legislatures and on the streets. The good news indeed is being spread by many strong and faithful congregations and committees and task forces and all. 2013 is also a year in which we will deal with the changing world and changing budgets. But we are doing God's work. We know that God is with us. The year of our Lord 2013 will be a year in which some wonderful things will happen. It will be a year in which we meet challenges, but it will be a good year. A year with God's presence, Emmanuel, among us. The other item that I want to mention quickly this morning, hopefully you picked up on the registration table an article. This is taken from the Board of Pensions website. This is giving you an update of something that was mentioned in November. And in fact, in November, we had only known about it for a couple of days, where it is still unfolding. But what I can tell you is that this article explains proposed changes in the way the Board of Pensions collects dues. If this proposal passes at the March meeting of the board, coverage for dependents of members will become negotiated between the calling body and the member. This is explained here. The other, and this article is also linked on our website so that you can go to the pensions, so it'll take you to that. I can also tell you that webinars are going to be taking place soon and will appear on the Board of Pensions website so that you can review those as well. That's www.pensions.org. This item is for your information. It is still a proposal at this point. But if you wish to voice your opinion, that same website, pensions.org, informs you how to contact the board. And also, please note that all of this discussion here has to do with the medical coverage. I don't want anybody to get panicky. All of those, our pension is still fully funded and quite secure. If you're a retiree, do not worry, your check is in the mail. And those of us who are hoping to retire one day, we can be assured that everything is fine with the pension part of the program. As you know, there are vast things going on in the world of medical coverage. The board is trying to address this in a way that is fiscally responsible and still meets their obligations. So I encourage you to read this article, to take note of webinars that are coming up, and to keep the folk at your churches up to date on those items. Madam Moderator, that concludes my report.